Hi, myself Subramanya Prasanna, and I am going to show how to manage the database which is on the server system, from a local system. And here is the server system on which I have installed the databases like MySQL, MSSQL, Oracle, and I've opened it from my local system on which I have installed my SQL developer tool to manage the database. So now I'm going to show how to manage the database in the server system, how to manage the database on the server system from the local host. Initially, we have to connect the database which is on the server system to the local host, to the SQL developer tool which is on the local host. To the connection to be done, we got to establish a connection between it. The connection name can be random, anything, but I'll go with system, and the username what we give is system, and the password is the default password 123. And we gotta ensure giving the host name, which is our local host, that is the IP address of our local host, which can be found by ipconfig command. And here is the IP address which should be entered here: 10.203.98.151, and we leave the port as it is, and SID can be renamed as ORCL, that is Oracle. And we gotta test the connection, which is if it is connected or not, and we get the status which is success, which means there is a successful connection between this. And then we gotta connect the database and the developer tool which is on the local host. And now we gotta create a user in the connection. So we gotta right click on the other users and click on create user, and by using DBMS we can organize data in a database. There are several functionality of DBMS which contains of security management, multi-user access control, backup and recovery management, and data integrity management. So in here, when we create a username, I can specify my user ID and the new password which has to be given here. I'm giving my net ID as the username, and here we have to specify the default table space as system, which was created by as right now, and the temporary table space as temp. And we gotta go specify the roles. We gotta grant all and admin all and default all. We gotta select all the roles which has to be given, and the system privileges, we gotta grant all the system privileges and admin options. Of course, we have to give everything for the admin all. And in quotas, we gotta select all the checkboxes such as examples, SOC, system, temp, and the other two users. And then we gotta apply all the selections what we have done right now. It shows grant succeeded. Yes. So we gotta close this tab right now, and right here we can see the user created in by my net ID here, which is spras2, and then we gotta close, we gotta exit from the current logged in profile, and we gotta go log in from the user created from my profile. And again, yes, we can see the user created here, and I'm gonna log in now from the created user by my profile, spras2, and the password will be whatever I gave for my net ID. Okay, then I've got to create tables in here. I gotta create a new table. Okay, let me go with a name. What we can consider resident of some apartment. So a table of a resident, with the table which consists of the details of a resident. It can say the apartment number and the name of the resident who lives in the apartment, and we can, as there can be several people with same names, we can take the social security numbers to identify them in a unique way, and we can say the age. We can consider the age of the resident. Okay, this can be enough to consider a resident, the details of a resident. And now you can see here the table resident is being created. Now we got to enter data into the created table. The insertion of data, gonna take here, we gotta select data, and if we go to the plus mark here, we can enter the details of the resident. Okay, now we can give the apartment number, say that's 23, and name can be Thomas, and the social security number, just for an example, let us say 76547, and age 32, and if we can enter another residence name, details, apartment 23, and we can consider another resident living in the same apartment. So we can say, sorry for the interruption, we can say it is John, and the SSN might be 56789, just for an example, and age, let us say it is 70. So these are, I have entered the corresponding data to the created table in here. So whatever I've done is I've created a user. I've established a connection between the SQL developer tool to the database on the virtual server, and created a user, and created a table from the user, and insertion of data to the table which has been created. So thank you. This is it.